Hi everyone, I am Shan.
And I am Tam. This is the Real Talk Podcast.
On this podcast, we have some candid conversations between us about love, family, faith, relationships, parenting, work life balance, and everything in between.
We invite you to not only listen, but interact with us and our guests as we have some real
Talk. Okay, Shantam fam, we are here. We are back again. We are done with February and we are in March. Hey, for the birthday girl coming up
Yes,
in March.
T minus how many days? We're counting down.
We're counting down to the birthday in March. So much to be thankful for in the midst of
Absolutely.
everything that's happening around us. But Tam, we wanted to talk about a very important topic this evening about feeling stuck, right? And what that means. What does it mean to feel stuck in your job or with parenting, right? Feeling stuck in your spirituality, right? With different relationships that you have. What
Right.
does that mean? And what does it mean to feel stuck? So we invite everyone to listen in, to share, to like, to subscribe. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback. Continue with the comments and share with a friend. So welcome as we dive into this topic on feeling stuck.
Yes, hitting this brick wall, man. Sometimes you can feel like life has done a number on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. We often think that, we're alone in feeling the way we feel. And, depending on who you are surrounded by, if anyone, you can feel kind of helpless and
Yeah,
hopeless, right?
yeah.
And there are so many different parts of our lives that make up who we are. And you just mentioned a few, like your personal relationships, the career, your
Mm-hmm.
spirituality, parenting,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to admit that at different points in our lives, we can feel stuck in any one of these areas or several of these areas, even at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not immune to it, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things I had to check myself, even going through this whole season of COVID, and sometimes you just get up, you don't know what to cook, you don't know what to eat. You're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
you just have that feeling of helplessness,
yeah.
right? And it's interesting because Monday morning, bright and early, and I was in a team meeting and a peer support meeting at that too. And like the tone of the meeting was just low.
Right,
And everybody was just expressing, there's so much happening in the world in terms of the situation in Ukraine.
right.
And then with COVID, people are not able to socialize and do the things that they want to do. And everybody just felt low in their
Mhm.
spirit. And I'm thinking to myself, that is what's happening, right? And what's happening in the world sometimes, and one person raised an important point. She said, we have to be kind to each other because we don't know what people are going through. You don't know if people are battling divorce,
Yeah.
like family breakdown with their children,
Mhm.
mental health, are people just feeling stuck in their situation and where they're going. So we have to be kind to each other. And it's real talk
Real
because,
talk. Mhm.
yeah, because I mean, life is tough. Life
Yeah.
is hard. And when you even talk about the whole spirituality piece, Tam, there are several times in my journey that I felt stuck,
Mhm.
right? That I felt like, okay, man, I think God I hear me because me I pray about this situation yeah too long. And
Mhm.
it's like I'm not getting a breakthrough, right? Or sometimes you just act out of character because of situations and you just feel so low and you
Yeah.
feel stuck. I'm not sure if you've ever felt that way.
Yeah, definitely. And just to go back to something that you just said about, being kind to each other. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I was saying to them that, sometimes when people say the things that they do, they don't intentionally mean to hurt you, right? Or to harm you, even in terms of just giving their advice about your situation that you may not like or making a comment. But I think we have to learn to show grace to people, right? Because think about it this way. When somebody comments on your situation, they're commenting from their lens and their perspective. You are the only one who is living your life, and you are seeing things from your perspective, right? And so when somebody makes a comment about something that you may not particularly like or agree with, especially if it is about your life, I think sometimes we need to take the time to be a little bit reflective. And we talked about this the other day when we talked about the power of our words, that you shouldn't always try to react, but think about what you have to say. And I want to, on that point, to say, even when we see, like you just mentioned, the fact that we don't know what people are going through, and acting out of character may be something that you see with somebody. Extend a little grace to people, right? Because you really don't know from that person's lens and from their experience really what it is that they're feeling.
Real talk.
Right? And then to your other point about, whether or not I felt stuck, I have. And I know that spiritually, I was stuck at a point when you really introduced me to a different way of praying. And I realized that was something that led me out of that position that I was in at the time, once we started that experience, that journey together. And for that, I think that we need to be, when you feel stuck or you've hit that brick wall, you need to know who you have around you.
And that's the important piece,
right?
Too. Like,
and to draw on those people who are positive, encouraging, and actually are feeding into helping you to move beyond where you are. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I agree. And it's just the other day I was listening to this message by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she was talking about girl get up, right? And yes. It's so powerful. And she's like, she's coming to speak to all the girls and all the women who have felt stuck in their situation. And she said, sometimes it means that not everybody's gonna have the right to talk into your situation or to talk into your life. To your point, Tam, you really have to know who you have around you, who you have as support, so that when you are feeling stuck in that position, you can call on people to help you. Because today for me, them say tomorrow for you. You know what I mean?
And how many times have I been the one to lift you when you're at a point where you're not feeling your greatest? How many times have you been the one to lift me when me call you the ball?
Exactly. Literally. Right.
Literally,
real talk.
Because
right. Real talk.
Maybe just today I don't feel that I was a great parent, and you have to remind me.
Oh man,
you're doing everything that you can, right? So you really have to have people who are supportive, who have your back,
who have your best interests,
and who can help you get back up on your feet. So we really need to take a stock. I would say one of the first things is to take a stock of who you have around you that can help you out of that stuck situation.
Real talk. I didn't even know this was a thing, feeling stuck, right? So I just Googled it, and it says what causes a person to feel stuck,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says perhaps the most difficult part about being stuck is knowing you need to do something to feel better, yet perpetuating your own limiting beliefs that you can't find the way back to yourself.
Right.
Many of us feel stuck when we lack a sense of certainty and control in our outer world. That is so true.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is, sort of defines that point that you're talking about is just being present in your
Yeah,
life, right?
yeah.
So we know that every day we don't always have the energy. How many days do we want to just like
Lie
pull
down in a
your
bed.
covers, yeah, pull your
Mm-hmm.
sheet over your head and curl up like a little turtle,
And
okay?
don't do nothing.
Don't do
Don't do nothing for
nothing.
the whole. If we could I get chef with chef for call cook for we.
I know we're
We have to big
personal
up
chef.
Chef Ben. Chef
Chef
Ben. We have to big
Ben,
up Chef Ben.
Century Delight, Ray. Okay, but you have to, what do we do in that situation on a daily
Yeah.
basis? Do we not have to get up?
Girl,
Like,
get up.
girl, get
Girl,
up.
get up.
And I'm saying, show up,
Yeah.
like you might feel like you want to be a turtle today and pull that head back into the shell,
Mm-hmm.
but stick it out there, take
Yes.
one step, move forward. And it's incredible how that momentum of
Mm-hmm.
that one step moving forward can propel you into something beyond where you are, right?
No, I agree. I agree. Sometimes you just don't feel like it, but you just have to get up. You just have to get up and you just have to move.
And how many times do we walk into a day? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Shan, but you get up feeling that way and you're like, all right, let me get up. Let
Mm-hmm.
me move into the day and let me do what I have to do. And when you really get into that day, how many times have you been surprised about something that is great in that day? Unexpected.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
Listen, so I'm gonna tell you about my story last week when I was supposed to do the presentation for the people in work. And I don't know, what did I go out with me that day? Then I just start crying.
Oh
I was
no.
just having a day.
Yes,
I
yes.
was just having a moment and it was just such an emotional day. But I was like, you just have to do this, right? Literally before the call, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wipe my face, drink some water, and get into it. And it worked out. I just had to speak life into myself. I mean, I was texting you and you said, Shan, may I pray?
Yes.
I'm praying and stuff. And, me even tell us I'm coming, I'm say, Markham, I just need a hug today. You know what I mean? And I went in and I did my presentation. And then after that, the whole day, everything about the day just changed.
It turned
Because
around.
I chose to have, not to say me, I choose to be happy, because happiness and joy is two different things.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I was choosing joy in that moment amidst everything that I was feeling, amidst everything that was going on. I was like, I am choosing joy and I'm choosing to do this. Sometimes that's just all we have to do.
Yeah. And it just goes to reinforce the point that we're always going to have those obstacles. There's always going to be a wall there, always going to be a wall, whether it's a little wall or a big wall, but there's always going to be an obstacle that's in front of us. So what are we going to choose to do about this obstacle right now?
Yeah.
We're going to face it, or we're going to fall back and just stay where we are.
Exactly. And just stay in that position of being stuck and nothing, right?
Yeah.
Real talk.
Real talk. There's something I want to just have you toss around in your brain about looking back, like when you're in that position and you're feeling like you've hit that wall. What do you think about looking back at the start, looking back to see what has happened to me, or what have I done? Where have I been? What have I been doing that has led me up to this point. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is a useful thing for you to do, because you know
Mm-hmm.
what comes to mind when I think about that? I don't know if it's one of the devotions that we have done, or if it's just like an analogy that I've heard somewhere, to say that you can do the same thing 20 times and expect 20 different results.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like you have to look back at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
that brought you to where you are, to see what needs to change.
Yeah. You
I
have
don't
to
know.
reflect. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you. You have to reflect and really look at, as you said, what happened,
Mm-hmm.
why you're where you are, and what you can change. And I think it's also important to, when you're feeling stuck, depending on what situation, if it's a situation of your job or relationships or whatever, also figure out what's your why. Why am I
Mm-hmm.
here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why am I still in this situation? Why am
Right.
I still at that job?
Right.
Right? Why? And really try to pull back on your purpose and why am I here? Why am I doing this? Right? And I think in that way, you can, in some way, try to make sense of why you're feeling stuck and
Mm-hmm.
put some things in place to move forward.
Mm-hmm. So starting over, and we talk
Mm-hmm.
about this all the time in our book club, you know, the number of books that we've read. One of the tr- um, trending thoughts that has come out of several of these books is that you can't look at failure
Yeah.
as the end, right? Like,
No, you can't.
failure isn't, it's not the end of something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it if failing at something is just another opportunity for you
Mm-hmm.
to start again and possibly to
Mm-hmm.
do something better. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this that's the approach that you have to take up at times when you are feeling this way, like there's nowhere to go. Start over,
Yeah, 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 I
right?
agree. And the thing is, Tam, the things that we go through, and we always say that, it's not just for us, right?
Yes.
But it's for those coming and for people that we can encourage. I will never forget when we did that interview with Karika, and when
Mm-hmm.
she spoke about her story and even her book, right? And she said that her testimony and her life and everything that she's gone through,
Mm-hmm.
it's for other women
Yeah.
that are going through, or that will go through those situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we go through things as well too, it's to encourage somebody else, right? To say, hey, I've been at that place where I feel stuck
Yeah.
mental wise, or feel stuck in my
Spirit.
parenting or
Yeah.
spirituality, or feel stuck in my relationship, right? And you
Right.
can be authentic and really share your experiences with someone, for people not to feel like they're in it alone.
Yeah. The thing with that though is that we are often, and this goes back to the people who you have to take stock of the people who you have around you, because not everybody you can trust,
Yeah, that is
right?
so true.
And that
Mm-hmm.
is a real thing to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really takes something like in Karika's instance, for anybody who has written a book about their life that tells the story of traumatic, or
Like tell all,
yeah,
everything.
and those types of experiences. I mean, the book that we're doing even now in our book club,
Yes.
right? Michelle's book, In Search of Self, she speaks about some really intimate details about what happened
Mm-hmm.
to her. Like, that's not something that any
Talk
people would
about.
ordinarily put out there,
Yeah, but she make
right?
herself vulnerable,
But
right?
she's
She
made
made herself
herself
vulnerable.
vulnerable. She's been brave, and I applaud people who are able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can find our own ways, not necessarily telling all,
Mm-hmm.
but we individually, as different beings, can find our own ways of talking about these things, but again, being mindful of the medium and the people in which you share, right?
Yeah, because not everybody have your best interest too.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Real talk. There's something that you said earlier too about having your purpose, like finding your purpose in the situation that you're in. We always talk about, living in our purpose and standing in our purpose, but can we also admit that that is a daunting idea for a lot of people, because people always think that your purpose has to be something grand and something visible and
yes,
right?
Because a lot of people don't really know what their purpose is, and as you said,
right,
I think it has to be something major.
Yeah. Continuing to think that way can cause somebody to be stuck and not actually be authentically living in the purpose for which they were designed for, right?
Yes.
Because my mom said something to me years ago that I never really took in, and I kind of brushed it off. And I think I've talked to her about this before, that I realized was so true. At a point when I was struggling to, feeling like I did not know what my life was for, what my purpose was in life, she said to me, have you ever thought about the fact that your purpose is being the best friend, the best sister, the best, the best version of who you yourself are to the people that you love and who are in your life? And she said to me, you're a really great friend because you love the people who you love, right? And you do. Yes. And I never thought about that.
Yeah, because you kind of minimize it, right?
Yeah, but because
that's a great characteristic, a great thing to have. Exactly.
Yeah, things that can be my purpose in our life, just to love the people who me love and do good by them. But what I've come to realize is that was my purpose at the time.
Yeah. It changed. Your purpose changes, and you don't have to have one purpose.
Yeah.
You don't have to have one purpose. You can't have more than one.
So I think the point for me is, I think if we really look into what we are doing well in our lives, and what is bringing us that element of joy, or what is giving us the ability to serve others and, to extend ourselves to others, we might not end up feeling stuck about not knowing what your purpose is. Because look at the things that you are doing now that touches other lives, that help people, that you might not be stuck after all.
You might not be stuck after all, right? But and sometimes it's your mindset as well too. Yeah. If you want to be real talk, because and it's interesting you said that something just came out at me. You can also feel like you're being stuck based on comparison. You're comparing yourselves with other people, right? You're comparing their journey and where they're at, and you're feeling you should be there. But listen, the race is for everybody. And as the word said, the race is not for the swift, but for those who will endure to the end.
Right.
So everybody's journey and everybody's race is different.
Yeah. I think that every day we can begin to write a little bit more of our story.
I think so too.
And I think that we should always be in a state of learning and growing. Fundamentally, I hold that personally for myself, and I tell people I'm a continuous learner. I love to learn, I love to grow. And so I feel that, we might feel times of desperation, or, feeling like I'm really just not making any headway or doing something
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
But we need to address those areas and not let it encompass everything else that is good or that you're great at, to have that
Mm-hmm.
hold you back in every
Mm-hmm.
instance. So today, if I feel like I'm the worst parent in the world,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a great friend. Okay?
Absolutely. You have to claim it. You have to claim it. Right? And do what you have to do for make you feel good. Me know sometimes when me not feel good, listen, them with some probably my blast the music and me have a party to myself. Right? When me start play the music in my soul.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah.
speak life into myself. I have to change the mood as well. Right?
Yes.
Because that's also important.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Our
Yes.
story is not over.
I know it is not over. And it's interesting you said that time. Today I was thinking I feel like there's so much more in me that
Mhm.
I want to give and I want to share to the world. So our journey and our story continues. And there are gonna be moments that we're gonna be in the valley. There are gonna be
Mhm.
moments where we're on the mountaintop, but we
Mhm.
just have to keep going. We
Yes.
just have to keep, and don't stay in that state of being stuck. Just keep going. And even if you get there, just pat your back, pat yourself, break, take some time, drink
Mhm.
some water, take a nap, do
Take
what
a
you need
breath.
to do, take a
Count to
breath.
10. Count to 10.
Exactly. And get up. Get up and
Girl,
go.
get
Get
up.
up. Yes.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Oh my goodness, this has been awesome.
Yes.
So much more for us to talk about. Like, we can go on and on. There's so much to talk about when we start talking, and
Mm-hmm.
we just want to keep it simple, quick, and easy for our listeners. So we are encouraging you to come back for another conversation, Shan and Tam fam. We have been enjoying doing this with you and for you. Leave us your comment. As Shan said, like our Facebook page, subscribe,
Yes.
and follow us on our social media platforms. A new episode of Real Talk comes out every Sunday at 12 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We are on Spreaker, Spotify, girl, with that for iHeartRadio.
Listen, they was on live.
Facebook, YouTube. Join us again for another conversation, fam, on Real Talk. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Okay, bye. Real talk.
Real Talk.
Don't forget to visit Shan and Tam on all their social media websites. At Sisters Shan and Tam on Instagram, Shan Tam Lodge-Lee on Facebook, and check out their blogs at shanandtam.blogspot.com. Tune in again next time on Real Talk.